our former national president, Rodrigo Pecolera. He showed support during the consultative meeting held at PICC. Engineer Lyndon Bage, our committee overseer, when we are still drafting the PEC2, our incoming or incumbent Engineer Feliciano Padua, to the national president, Alan Anthony Alvarez and its Board of Governors, and to the Board of Electrical Engineering. My direct boss at NEA, Honorable Jaime B. Mendoza, and to the Chairman of BEE, Honorable Francis B. Mapili. So I will be presenting an overview of the PEC2. So ito. Nakita na ba? So actually, we already gave this copy way back 2019, kaya lang hindi siya na-aprobahan. So nag-slide ng konti ng 1 year, no? 2020. And the outline of my presentation is the introduction of the committee members, Professional Regulatory Board of Electrical Engineering resolution, PEC2, its abstract, chapters, appendix, wind zone, and the power line corridor. To begin it, I would like to introduce my members. So, nauna na ako, no? So, I was a former director of Electrical Engineering Department at NEA, former member of the Grid Management Committee. And my vice chairman is Cesar D. Sakdal, who is also former vice chairman of GMC, the Grid Management Committee. So, meron na tayong probable mag-chair ng grid. And he was a former Deputy Assistant Chief Technical Officer of NGCP, Transco Manager, Napocor Manager. So lahat na nandiyan na. And we have Engineer Edwin G. Ladignon, Senior Vice President of Palm Concepcion. He is also a former NGCP employee, technical advisor to the President, Transco, AVP Head Engineering Design, and also from NPC, Department Manager Electrical Design. And we have Engineer Cesar G. Castillo, also from NGCP, Manager Project Evaluation, galing rin ng Transcos, CSO Project Director Office, and Napocor din, Department Manager Engineering Administration. So talagang lahat pinasadahan nila yung yung electrical industry. And we also have a representative from RALCO, Robinson Uy. He heads the Network Power Engineering RALCO Internal Audit, and he is the former Vice President and Head Technical Services Group, Meralco Energy. We also have Engineer Generoso Restubog, President and CEO of Resonance Technical Group. He is the former Electrical Design Manager of GHD Philippines, former Electrical Facility Design Manager, Intel Philippines, and being our representative in the academe, he is the head of electrical engineering at De La Salle University. Professor and lecturer at Pamantasan Lungsod ng Maynila, TIP, Perpetual Health, Laguna, and Lyceum of the Philippines. And we have lastly Engineer Edgardo G. Kempis. He is from Meralco and manager and team leader of the distribution standards team. I'm sorry to say that he was the one who passed away last year, May 2020, due to COVID. Mamimiss namin yun. And in addition to the bagong member, Engineer Kenneth Horinge, due to the requirement of the Board of Governors na magkaroon ng secretariat within the committee, we tap the services of Kenneth Horinge. He is the former secretariat in charge to PEC 2 and is now the performance engineer at Palm Construction Power Corporation. And our secretariat is Warren Chester Fardo, publication officer of PEC 1 and PEC 2. And he's previously a technical instructor at STI and Electron College of Technical Education, production engineer at Republic Biscuit Corporation. So yan ang composition ng mga membership ng Philippine Electrical Code 2, wherein makikita natin na galing sila ng GMC, galing ng NGCP, galing ng Transco, galing ng NPC, galing ng Meralco, Academ, tsaka NEA. So, yun. Excuse me. Next presentation is the PRB resolution number 08, series of 2021. So, the PRB resolution number 08, series of 2021, is the adoption of the 6th edition of the 2020 revised Philippine Electrical Code Part 2 as part of the rules and regulations governing the practice of electrical engineering, and as referral code in accordance with the National Building Code. So, on June 11, 2021, it was signed by our Honorable BEE Chairman Francisco B. Mapile and Honorable BEE Member Jaime B. Mendoza, and approved by the PRC Chairman Pilardo. On August 2, 2021, is the date of the publication in the official gazette, and the date of effectivity is on August 17. So it's a 3-pager resolution. The Philippine Electrical Code Part 2, we usually call it Pec Ii, referred to as the code, covers the basic safety rules for the safeguarding of person during the installation, operation, and maintenance of electric supply and communication facilities and associated equipment. PEC 2 2020 is the 6th edition of the Pec Ii, and it was based on the National Electrical Safety Code. So, ito yung itsura niya, yung malaki. Previously, maliit lang yung book way back 2008. So, rather than having a very thick book na maliit pa rin yung size niya, so we adopted the NASC na medyo malaki na. Parehas na rin sa Part 1 kasing laki na rin ng Part 1. Although slightly thinner. So this is the content of PEC 2 chapter. There are 5 chapters, and practically talagang lang to, ang content niya is safety rules. Kung mapapansin natin sa chapter 2 up to chapter 4, safety rules lahat yan. And on 2, it refers to the generating plant at saka substation. In chapter 3, makikita natin, it refers to safety rules sa overhead line. In chapter 4, underground. So ganun lang, no? Para madali natin matandaan, safety rules sa lahat for substation and power plant, safety rules for overhead line, safety rules for underground line. And chapter 5 is the work rules, yung mga gagawin ng mga worker, no, employer. And we have also the appendix A and B, which is the basic wind speed on various wind zone of the Philippines. And on appendix B, Republic Act 11361, very specific to Section 5 power line corridor. And as reference, inattach na rin namin yung Republic Act 11361 and the IRR. So as an introduction, the purpose of the PEC 2 is the sorry, tagal na akong hindi nag-speak, medyo madaling maubo. The purpose of the Pec 2 is the practical safeguarding of person, utility, facilities, and affected properties during the installation, operation, and maintenance of electric supply and communication facilities under specified conditions. So yun ang purpose niya, no? Safeguarding of person. And an purpose is to provide the standard of safe practices, and this code is not intended, no, as a design specification or as an instruction manual. So maraming nag-aakala na no, kung gusto nilang mag-design, dito sila nagre-refer. Wala kayong makikitang design dito. No? Sinasabi lang kung ano yung mga standard safe practices. Because there are 1,001 design na pwede niyong gawin to follow this standard of safe practices. So sa coverage niya, it is on the supply side of the utility meter, no? Which is that includes the generation facilities, substation, electrical transmission, and power distribution system. So ito yung illustration, makikita natin dito, yung portion dito, no? Utility side, at saka dito sa baba, utilization side, no? So ang scope ng Pec 2 is dito sa taas, generation, transmission, distribution, public or private electric supply, communication, street and area lighting, and traffic light. Ano yung hindi covered? Sa premises, wiring located beyond the utility service point. Hindi rin kasama yung underground mine wiring or installation in aircraft, ship, or automotive equipment. To illustrate, yung service point, no, hanggang dito lang yung yung utility side, yung colored wire is the utilization side na. And with the exception of the metering equipment. Hindi kasama yung metering. Sa pa rin yun? Sa utility pa rin yung metering. So in general rule is to meet the requirement of this rule, and the utility and the authorized contractor or other entities shall be responsible for meeting the applicable requirement. For new installation and extension, these rules shall apply to all new installations and extension. So lahat ng bago, no, mag-apply. And for existing installation that currently comply with prior edition of the code did not be modified to comply with this rule. So kung meron ka nang nagawa na nag-comply ng way back 2008 edition, hindi mo na kailangan mag-comply dito sa panibago. No? Kasi kung hindi, buong system natin sa Pilipinas papalitan. Parang ganun lang yun. And for existing installation, where conductor or equipment are added, altered, or replaced on an existing structure, the resulting installation will be in compliance pa rin, no? With the rules that were in effect at the time of the original installation. Kunyari, yung 2008 na ginawa mo, na kinonstruct mong linya, nagdagdag ka lang, may pinalitan ka lang, o may replace ka lang, hindi mo kailangan i-upgrade into the 2020. So kung ano pa rin yung in effect at that time, original installation, yung pa rin ang gagawin mo. No? And then for inspection and work rules, yung current edition of the Pec Ii shall apply. This code is intended for mandatory application by government bodies exercising legal jurisdiction over electrical installation. These government bodies that will have the responsibility of this code. So whoever they are, pwedeng DPWH, pwedeng ERC, DOE, NEA, sila pwedeng mga ganon, no? Sila yung government body. And in case of controversy on any provision of the Pec II, the Board of Electrical Engineering, upon the recommendation of the Code Committee, shall render the final interpretation. So BE ang ano, no? Will render the final interpretation. In Chapter 2, it's about safety rules for the installation and maintenance of electric supply station and equipment. The purpose of this chapter is the practical safeguarding of person. Safeguarding na naman, no? During the installation, operation, and maintenance of electric supply station and their associated equipment. So we're talking about the generating plant at saka yung substation niya, no? And this covers the electric supply conductor equipment along with the associated structural arrangement in electric supply station. Chapter 2 also discussed the following: protective arrangement in electric supply station, installation and maintenance of equipment, rotating equipment, storage battery, transformer and regulator, conductor, circuit breaker, recloser, switches and fuses, switchgear and metal enclosed bus, surge arrestor. So yung nakikita natin sa substation at planta, ito yun. No? And for Chapter 3, safety rules na naman, no? For overhead naman. So sa linya tayo, overhead line. And the purpose of this chapter is the practical safeguarding of person for overhead supply and communication lines. This chapter covers supply and communication conductors and equipment, spacing and clearances, strength of construction. Chapter 3 also discussed the grounding of circuits, wherein metal structures shall be effectively grounded. Yung clearances dito covers all clearances, no? Lahat ng klaseng clearances for overhead supply and communication lines, like the clearances of supporting structures of other objects, vertical clearance of wires above ground, clearance between wires on different supporting structures, clearance of wires from building, clearance of wires on the same supporting structure, climbing space, working space, vertical clearance between certain communication and supply facilities, and clearances of vertical and lateral facilities from other facilities. So lahat ang supported to with the table. No? And we also have the under Article 3.5, the grade of construction. Ano bang klaseng construction ng itatayo natin? Diyan meron din, it is also supported with the tables. No? The grade of construction are specified on the basis of the required strength of safety. So dito nire-recommend yung kung anong klaseng construction. Mapa B, C, or N, and construction, grade of construction, wherein the grade B is the highest. Ito yung sample table. No? Isa lang yan. No? And we have several more tables for that. And then under Chapter 3, nandyan rin yung the formula to be used to calculate the wind loading. And ito, to further show the formula, ito yung yung mga dapat mong i-supply na data to come up with this. So in chapter 3 makikita rin natin yung figure, no, na 3.6.1.2 basic wind speed, na dati 3 lang yan, ngayon 4 na. We included 300 kilometers per hour, and wind zone 2, yung blue, is 270, wind zone 3, yung yellow, 240 kilometers per hour, and yung green, 185 kilometers per hour. Ibig sabihin yan, you have to design your system to withstand those wind speed. And chapter 4, we have safety rules na naman, kaya lang this time underground. So the purpose of this chapter is the practical safeguarding of person during the installation, operation, and maintenance of underground or buried electric supply and communication cables and associated equipment. This covers electric supply and communication cables and equipment in underground or buried system. So yun ang scope niya. No? And chapter 4 also discuss the following: general requirement applying to the underground lines, underground condition system, conduit system, supply cable in underground structures, direct buried cable, and cable in duct not part of a conduit system, riser, yung cable termination, dyan din, equipment, and installation in tunnel. So for chapter 5, last chapter is the work rules naman, no? For it. This is to provide practical work rules as one of the means of the safeguarding employees and the public from injury. And the scope is to cover the work rules to be followed in the installation, operation, and maintenance of electric supply and communication system. So we have this article, 4 na article, which pertains to the rules for employer para sa employee. And in addition to that, yung sa employee, meron additional rule specific to communication employee at saka yung supply employee. Wherein sa employer naman, makikita natin dyan yung mga training na dapat nilang i-provide, no, sa mga employees. Training, mga logistics na kailangan nilang ibigay, PPEs. And then yung rule naman ng employees is dapat marunong sila ng first aid, rescue technique, fire extinguishing. And yung additional rule for the communication employees, nandiyan naman yung rule on a joint use structure, wherein ano ba yung dapat na distance ng ng pagtrabaho mo pagka meron kang kadikit na na high tension wire. Yan yung mga sample ng mga rules for communication employees. And lastly, yung additional rule for supply employee. Yung ano ba yung mga approach distance to the energized part. So yan, pag-iingatan mo yan. No? Nandun yan. Tapos pati yung PPE, yung calorie per centimeter square na mga isusot nila, nandun. Meron tayong mga matrix o table providing that. And then, let's go to Appendix A, basic wind speed on various wind zone for the Philippines. We have provided a table for that, 4 na wind zone, 1, 2, 3, 4, wherein makikita nyo dito sa right side, no? Yung area coverage niya by province. So nandiyan pa rin yung basic wind speed ng 300, kung ano yung province na nasasakupan ng 300 kilometers per hour, 270, and then 240 and 185. And next table is this was provided to us by Pag-asa, yung mga these are the most notable tropical cyclones that hit the Philippines from 1950s to 2013. So ayan, no? And marami pa silang data binigay, no? And out of that data, plinat namin ng committee, kung mapapansin nyo, ano ba yung mga linya na yan, no? For example, dito yung Yolanda, no? Yolanda nagsimula dito. Ano yung speed niya yan? Dito habang pumapasok sa inland, ano yung speed diyan? Ano yung speed diyan? Ano yung speed? So plinat-plot namin yan. So lahat ng bagyo na yan, plinat namin dito. Makikita namin kung ano yung mga speed na nag-incur on certain areas. Meron pa yung kay Pepeng, no? Typhoon Pepeng, wherein tignan mo dito sa northern side, medyo hindi kagad lumabas, no? Bumalik pa siya. So pinaplot rin namin yan. Kaya kami nagkaroon ng ganitong output. So merong pula dito. And then for the 300 kilometers per hour, we have 270 kilometers per hour sa blue, yung yellow 240 and 185 sa green. So base yan dito sa doon sa plinat namin na mga wind speed as they traverse or cross the Philippines. And to compare lang, ito yung sa Pec Ii 2008, dati 270 lang ang pinakamataas niya, 240 ang medium, and then 160. And then for NEA, way back 1970, ito lang sinusunod namin. No? Wala pa kasing code na nagre-refer sa ganitong speed. We are using 193, 145, and 96. And to compare, we have this table. No? Kung mapapansin nyo, yung sa NEA na 193, halos pumantay na doon sa zone 4 ng bagong Pec Ii natin. So, nagsimula tayo sa 193, naging 270, ngayon 300 na. So, yan ang effect ng climate change. No? And lahat yan, mayroon tayong basis. And then, lastly, we have Appendix B, Republic Act 11361, Anti-Obstruction of Power Line Act. Very specific lang tayo dun sa Power Line Corridor, Section 5. And then it refers to the power line corridors. This annex discusses and illustrates the required safety clearance for overhead lines, which defines the power line corridor. And for vegetation, ito ang power line corridor, ito yung nagsisimula dun sa sa conductor ang reference natin sa ngayon. Conductor, ibabagsak natin ng ganon, bagsak ng linya na yan, and then magdodraw ka ng 45 degrees. So anything na tatamaan ng 45 degrees na yon, putol, no? And then within that yung bagsak na yon ng linya, kunyari binagsak mo diyan, meron kang 3 meters na distance na safe clearance, putol rin diyan. And then dito rin 3 meters din dito, B and E, anything na lalagpas dyan, putol na naman. So yan yung power line corridor. So the PLC is bounded by points A, B, C, D, and F. So A, B, C, D, E, and F. And there shall be no tall growing plants from points C to D. Okay? So dito, up to here, wala dapat tall growing plants. And the space bounded by points A, B, E, and F shall always be clear of any part of vegetation. So ano ba yung tall growing plants? Plants, vines, and other species which grows or have the potential to grow more than 3 meters in height from the ground. So kung itong trees mo na hindi naman siya aabot ng ng 3 meters, okay lang 'yan. Pero kung yung puno na 'yan is potential na tataas pa do sa sa linya or more than 3 meters, kahit na wala pa siyang 3 meters sa ngayon, pwede mo nang putulin kasi eventually tataas pa yan eh. Kunyari, Nara, alam mo naman na tataas siya eventually, pwede mo lang siyang putulin. And then yung points A and F, pwede mong i-extend yan, no? Itong F tsaka A. Pwede mong i-extend yan, depende kung meron pa siyang tatamaan na obstruction. And then tall growing plants within the PLC shall be allowed provided it will not affect the integrity and reliability of the power lines. So kung ganito yung configuration ng line mo, hindi naman siguro tatama yung hindi sasayad sa linya, so okay lang yan. For a single pole utility, the utility or for maintenance and operational purposes shall have the right to remove or trim, prune, non-tall growing plants encroaching within 3 meters. No? So ano ba yung malapit yan within 3 meters? From the pole structure at height deemed appropriate by the utility. So kung sa palagay mo na kailangan mo siyang kalbuhin talaga, no? Kalbuhin, you have the right, no? Not necessarily na i-allow mo na 3 meters pa yung itatayo ng itutubo ng ng vegetation around within this 3 meter radius. And then for H-frame, ganun din, no? Meron din tayong 3 meter na encroachment na pwede nating i-trim o prune. And then for transmission tower, so 4 na poste, 4 na foot. On all sides, 3 meters, pwede kayong magputol dyan. So yun na, no? And then we also have for non-rigid structure, so pinasama pa rin to. But this is also already inclusive na sa natin to, no? Sa PEC 2 talaga. Dati na. So pero nilagyan na lang natin ng figure at saka values of clearances para maging malinaw. And biglang naging part na to ng 11361. So we have clearances A, B, and C. No? So tatlong clearances. Yung A, from the building. Yung B, yung top na yung tuktok na pinakamalapit doon sa linya. Ito yun, no? So, and then yung C, yung signage. Ano ba yung pinakamalapit na linya doon sa signage? So ito pa rin. So ito yung C, ito yung A, B, and C. Assuming yung poste mo nandyan. Pero kung gumalaw na yung poste mo, magbabago na rin yung B mo, B and C. Yung A mo, yung pa rin. But your B and C, kasi ito na yung from the balcony, and then ito na yung pinakamalapit na linya, yun na yung B mo. And then ito naman yung signage mo. Ano yung pinakamalapit doon? Ito. This one. So yun ang C. And then assuming gumalaw na yung poste, nagbago na naman yung configuration, kung ganito na naman yung configuration ng linya mo, yung B mo naman, ito na, no? Kasi from the balcony up to the nearest point, from the balcony, ito yung B. And then from the signage, this one, ano yung ilalim dito. So yun ang C. So with that, we have 3 clearances. Pre-provide namin yung clearances ng ABC. Kasama na rin dyan yung mga balconies, mga under roof, over roof, ramp, sign, chimney, billboards, nandyan na, no? Iba-ibang voltahe. Itong table na ito, it refers to 750 volts AC up to 500 volts AC. Meron kaming 22 kV, 69 kV, 115 kV, 138 kV, 230 kV na gantong table matrix up to 500 kV AC. So yan ang nilalaman ng ng PEC 2. So dinagdag na rin namin yung as reference yung 11361 and its IRR. So I hope we did justice to the creation of PEC 2, no, na talagang magagamit natin siya mapapakinabangan lalo na ngayong panahon na itong nagbagyo, no. So thank you for your time. And sabi nga ni Phil Collins, in learning you will teach, and in teaching you will learn. So thank you.